Hey everybody, Ron Gantt here, and I want to do a short video today on the idea of root cause. Right? Root cause is a concept you see thrown around a lot in failure investigations. Wikipedia sort of defines it as a term that denotes the earliest, most basic, deepest cause for a given behavior, most often a fault. Right? So it's sort of like after an accident, you're supposed to find the root cause, the deep cause, because if you don't, you're just going to be dealing with those surface level issues. And the concept sort of makes sense, but it doesn't come without its faults, right? So let's look a little bit at some of the challenges of root cause. So let's look at a very basic event, something very simple. You can even think about this in your own life, something you've done. And forgive me in advance, you are about to see the extent of my graphic design skills, right? So, every day, let's say you walk over a curb, right, from the street onto a sidewalk, right? Um, no problem. You do it hundreds, maybe thousands of times without issue. But let's say one day you actually bump into it and, for some reason you spontaneously combust. I don't know. Just go with it, right? What's the root cause of this event, right? So you tripped over a curb. What is the root cause, right? Well, it seems kind of simple, right? Probably something popped in your head immediately when I asked you that question. But to show some of the challenges of root cause and why it's maybe a problematic term sometimes, we want to take a page from a researcher named Jens Rasmussen, who brought up the really good point. When you want to understand root cause, look for something called the stop rule. The stop rule is, where do you stop in your investigation? Where do you stop looking? Right? And so let's go to our incident here and let's maybe look for some root causes, right? So probably quite a few of you looked at came up with the root cause of inattention, right? You just weren't paying attention, right? But of course, that in and of itself has a cause, right? So you could even dig deeper than inattention. Right? And so maybe it's the presence of distractions, right? Maybe you were looking at your phone, or maybe it was, hey, there's a new store that's over there that's selling, vegan cupcakes, and maybe that would be good or awful. I'm not sure. It depends on your perspective, right? But even that, though, has a cause, right? That could be from economic progress, right? I mean, having these phones, that's a good thing, right? Brings benefits to society, right? So maybe that's the root cause, but you could even go deeper than that, right? You could say, okay, well, maybe it's a street design issue, right? I mean, why do we need curbs? Why are curbs a thing, right? If we change the street design, maybe we wouldn't have these events. Of course, then that has a cause too. You could point to things like architectural zeitgeist, right? Just the general way that we think about designing cities and streets and walking surfaces and whatnot. But even that has causes, right? So you could dig even deeper than that. You could keep going, and eventually you'll just end up at either creation or the Big Bang, depending upon your worldview. But you see the point I'm getting at. Hopefully, it's that root cause is sort of where we decide to stop our analysis. And so this doesn't mean that, we shouldn't look, right? This doesn't mean that there's not value in incident investigation, but it does mean we need to admit something that's perhaps a bit uncomfortable. Root cause is something we choose. It's not something we find. Incident investigation is not an objective process where we go and determine the root cause that everyone will agree upon, right? Root cause is something that it's a social process, right? And I think we need to treat it that way. And this has lots of really interesting implications for how we investigate accidents and how we go about creating learning from those events and improvement. But at least I hope that this video has gotten you thinking a little bit about the idea of root cause and some of the challenges. If you got questions, reach out. Or as always, if you got ideas for other videos, let us know.